is me. Honestly, any of those things could have ruined me, and almost all of them did. But by the grace of God, they didn't. Back last spring, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Keith Abloh, and quite honestly, we were talking about the country. How do I save the country? And he said, man, you really have this kind of save the country kind of thing going for you. And I said, I'm here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. And we just started talking about life and trials and tribulations, the way life can throw things in. And he said, you know, I've known you for a long time, and I know all the things that have happened to you in your life. But he asked me a question that nobody in the media has ever asked me. How did you go from suicidal, hopeless, helpless alcoholic to here? That is not a question that anybody had asked me in the media. It's the untold story, really. And the reason why it's not told is because it empowers you. Keith and I both realized that I had lived a pattern that he had studied in psychology and he was trying to put into practice. We put my practical experience together with his training in psychology, and we realized, oh my gosh, 7 wonders that will change your life, not entirely, 7 wonders that will restore America. You want to fix the banking problem? You want to fix that? Restore these things. Restore some of these things. Do this. Do this. If you do it, you will not accept doing business with people who are slimy. We're going to talk about courage, faith, truth, compassion, friendship, family, and common sense this hour. But this is important that I learned from my father. And it was about 95, I think. I was whining about, oh, things are so tough, and yeah, whatever. And I was reading a lot of stuff. And my father asked me this question. He said, what is the difference between applied science and theoretical science? This was key. I was such a dummy, I had no idea. And at the time, I was reading a lot of Carl Sagan and Stephen Hawking and everything else. And so let me be really geeky and talk to you about wormholes. What's a wormhole? A wormhole is really theoretical science, and it is a portal almost to travel from here to this point in space to here. You know, might take you 400 light years. But a wormhole will take you from here right out here, and you don't have to travel all this space. Theoretical science. Wow, that's cool. Great for science fiction writers. Who gives a flying crap, quite honestly, if it's not applied? If you can't apply it, if there's nothing to use it for, who cares? It's only the eggheads that will stand around and talk about it in classes. It doesn't matter unless you apply what you know and what is true. The reason why I point this out is the 7 steps. These are just words, unless you choose to apply them in your life. If you believe in the meaning and importance, and you don't do it because the Pillsbury Doughboy, and come here, Keith, quite honestly, a bald-headed shrink, no offense, is telling you that it's a good idea. You have to, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. You have to discover what you believe in. You have to have the connection. I want to tell you 2 more quick stories, real quick. Man, I'm a loud mouth. I just can't stop talking. Earlier this week, I got a call from a guy who was listening to me on the radio when I started talking about the E4 project. And he was a guy who said he was listening to me on the way home after buying beer. It was 9:30 in the morning. He had just picked up prescription massive painkillers at the drugstore, and he was buying beer to chase them with because he had hit rock bottom, and today was his last day on earth. His girlfriend had left him. He lost his job. His home was in foreclosure. He heard me talk about this, and he said, I'm going to give that a whirl. Despite how bad his situation was, and I may have pissed him off, which is never really a good thing to do at somebody in that situation. I said, let me tell you the good news. If you really have hit rock bottom and you've lost everything, that means you shouldn't have any more fear, because there's nothing else for you to lose. And you've realized that now you want to be happy. You want to be surrounded by friends and family, and you realize that happiness can never be taken away from you, because happiness is a choice. We, in this country, have become our stuff. They can take that away. We can lose that. If our happiness is on our stuff, if our importance is on our stuff, we're in trouble. We have to be who we were born to be. Otherwise, we just become who we have allowed ourselves to be. I'll show you this. Does anybody know what this is? Anybody seen this before? This is, what is it? Brain coral? Did somebody say that? Brain coral. I'm going to show you this. Can you pick it up here on 6? This is brain coral. I found this last week while I was on vacation. I think it is beautiful. I don't know if you can see it really there on television. But I picked it up on the beach. When I found it, it was black. It was buried in the sand. It was lost. It had been broken off from the reef. And it had been pounded by the waves, and pounded and pounded and pounded, and it was supposed to grow into something really big and beautiful. And it had been broken off through the waves, off of the reef. And then I was walking along the beach, and it was this kind of this rock, but it looked different than a rock. And I picked it up, and I got all the sand off, and I washed it off, and it was all black. And I looked at it, and then I took it home, and I put it in bleach to get the black off of it so I could look at it. And it's like lace. It is remarkable. It is remarkable. I know what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be coral, which I don't know what the hell it's supposed to do. I know it just pisses Al Gore off that I now have this in my pocket and took it from the beach. I can't restore it to what it was supposed to be, but my wife is actually in the other room, and we kind of kept her away from this because our anniversary, our 11-year anniversary, is this weekend. And I saw this, and I thought, this is beautiful. And it has a natural hole in it right here where the waves had pounded it. And it actually I mean, you could see through it. It has a hole right here at the top. And I'm going to take a chain and put it in. So it's a medallion for her. I think it's beautiful. I don't know. I can't restore it. But it has great value. And it could have just been in the sand, black, and lost forever because it broke off from what it was supposed to be. Or we can clean it up. That's the deal. You may be lost in the sand, but you are of value if you choose to see it. In a minute, we come back with a 7 and the value of life. Back in a minute.